long, long ago in Dragon magazine, somebody wrote a story about two wizards who had it in for each other and were constantly trying to kill each other. The closer they got, the weaker they became physically. They figured out that the further apart they got, the greater their powers became. So they struck a deal and cast spells on each other, protection spells and everything, and from a great distance began controlling the whole world.
Okay.
Basically, what's happening is you have multiple entities, and this is what I believe we have. We've got an American faction represented by the Frankfurt School that I'm about to show you the rest of here. We have a European faction, which represents the European Frankfurt School, which never went away. That did not go away. It's still there to this day. And then you've got the communist Chinese.
China.
What you've got are three groups who are aligned in general principle, who understand that no one group can really control the world. Why? Because then you've got a single enemy to focus on. But if you've got three groups, they can pretend that it's the other guy. And then as soon as you start getting angry at the other guy, they'll point the finger at the other guy. And so on and so forth.
It's one of these.
It was, it's the Spider-Man meme.
Yep.
It's the Spider-Man meme because it was the Nazis. And before that, it was the German monarchy. And before that, it was the British and us. We got the finger pointed at us during the revolution. Then it was the Russians again after World War II. And then it was the Chinese. And then it was the Arabs. And then it was the Chinese again. And now it's the Russians again. And so on and so forth.
So it's like it's concealment.
Yes.
They throw the smoke grenade down. And they use it comes up, and then they move. They do all their moving behind the smoke screen, and they literally blaming someone else to bring the attention to them. Yeah, I get it.
Yes. Yep. It's a very carefully choreographed chess game, and you're not invited. Well, wait, you're one of the pawns. It sucks, but that's the way that it is. So anyway, in 1933, with the Nazi rise to power, Marcuse, being both Jewish and Marxist, was forced to leave Germany. He joined the Institute for Social Research, the Frankfurt School, which had relocated to Geneva and later to New York. The Frankfurt School's critical theory merged Marxist philosophy with Freudian psychoanalysis, seeking to understand how mass culture and modern capitalism produced compliance rather than revolution. These guys love the idea of revolution. Everything is constantly a revolution. You notice they don't have any actual goal. What do you want? Revolution. When do you want it now? Well, then what? No, revolution, though.
But the thing is what you're forgetting is after they successfully do the revolution, the useful idiots get whacked.
Yes, right away.
That buys some time for it to, for people to rise up against them again.
Yes. Yep.
So, I mean, even if they are, for instance, if they were successful at taking over the United States government and implementing their horrible shit.
Yeah.
It would not last long because you'd have, redneck Bubba and white trash Al showing up in their pickup trucks, and it would go off the chain.
And inner city Tyrone. Yeah. Those are not idiots. You piss them off enough, they're gonna get off the couch.
Yes. And you won't be happy that they did.
No. You will not be happy that they did. So back to our little map here. This is generally the key members of the Frankfurt School that I put out here. And all of these guys infiltrated American schools or remained in Switzerland and Paris, which is where they kept the Frankfurt School going. It exists to this day. Now, Marcuse began teaching at major American universities, promoting radical philosophy, socialism, and human liberation in opposition to both capitalist and Soviet systems. Now, the thing that differentiated Marx from the Trotskyites is the Trotskyites were actually kind of prudes, at least in public and in the education thing. Marcuse is the first guy to open the door to all of the porn and all of that crap.
Porn.
This guy was a grade A Mark 1 Mod 0 turbo perv.
Stop right there.
Was known for it.
And guess what? We're seeing that today with all of the trans gay crazy shit.
That all comes from the guy that I can't remember the name of the university that they burned in Germany, but that guy and Marcuse were close.
Again, there's nothing new under the sun.
No.
We're literally revisiting our past mistakes.
Yes.
Because we're not learning from past mistakes.
We didn't learn, and also we didn't exterminate those elements when we had the chance.
Yes. Now
we should have exterminated.
A huge nut rule now.
Look, it is just a cold, hard fact that there are certain segments of the human population that are basically parasites and need to be either removed from the living space or removed from the living space.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. It's unfortunate that we have to speak like that. But I don't know about you. I'm not going to stand by while, half the country starves to death because the people at the top don't know what the fuck they're doing and they've seized all the means of
They do know what they're doing. That's the problem. No, I'm going to show you that they know what they're doing.
Okay. They know what they're doing in that nefarious way, but when you're down below starving to death looking up, you're like, they don't know what they're doing.
The politicians, the senators and such, those aren't the people at the top. That's not the people at the top.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you why. You and I talked about it toward the beginning of the show. So anyway, this Marcuse guy starts teaching at Columbia University, Harvard, and Brandeis University, and a bunch of these Frankfurt School guys are all teaching at our top universities. What happens when somebody like this starts taking over the academic programs of our top universities? They start turning out minions.
Well, you start cranking out your minions.
Yes. They start cranking out the minions. Now, these minions start to create more minions of their own kind. And we're now in the third generation of these Marcuse acolytes, these Horkheimer acolytes, these Marx acolytes. And this is a deliberate thing. Because now that he's got the academic thing going, now they get the academic ball of wax going, Marcuse and a couple of the other guys go, okay, you guys over here, you keep the school thing going. I want you to crank out more minions. Your whole job is to crank out more minions. We're going to go over here. And Marcuse secures himself a job with the Office of Strategic Services as a political analyst. Assists in post-war denazification and reconstruction of Germany. He's one of the ones who wrote a lot of the stuff that makes you see Germany the way that it is now. And he criticized both Soviet totalitarianism and capitalist mass societies while he's working for the OSS. Now, this guy wrote fun books like Eros and Civilization, which merges Marx and Freud, argues for a non-repressive society where human instincts, especially erotic ones, can be liberated, and critiques the repression built into capitalist culture. That's our basic senses of decency. Here in the Midwest, we've got a real thing about that stuff.
It's called morality.
It's called morality, exactly. My nephew was up from Florida last week, and in Florida, people just walk around in shorts, and that's it. And I said, hey, your aunt's coming home. I need you to put a shirt on. He looked at me funny. I said, it's a Midwest thing. The ladies don't like young men parading around like that unless you're at the pool or the beach. He's like, okay, and you put a shirt on. That kind of thing. Marcuse in the 30s, 40s, and 50s is preaching against all of this stuff. He also wrote a book called The One-Dimensional Man. The One-Dimensional Man. It critiques technological rationality, mass consumer culture, and the loss of critical thinking. It argues that both capitalism and communism produce one-dimensional conformist humans. So he's going to expand everybody's mind. And what do? You get people like Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is one of these. He is a Marcuse acolyte. He is specifically a Marcuse acolyte.
Who now enjoys, 3 mansions?
Yes. He emphasizes the need for radical opposition even outside traditional proletariat and class structures. This guy goes on and on and on. He believes that society has to be critiqued to expose domination, especially in culture and language. I'm selecting Marcuse for a particular reason because he crossed all of the lines. The other guys, like I said, some would remain in academia, and some would get into government, and some got into activism. Marcuse went through all of them, and toward the end, I'm going to get to the final one, which is the touchstone for so many redonkulous episodes. It's not funny. You pretty much owe your whole comedy routine to this son of a bitch.
All right. Fair enough.
He's a terrifying fellow, this guy. So this was the Frankfurt School. I'm going to zoom way out for a second and show you guys something.
That's how crazy
I
this
just
is.
said the reach this guy has.
Wow.
Look at this. One guy. One guy did all of this shit. Now he joins the OSS, and you'll know some of these names. Anything in yellow is connected to the OSS, the Office of Strategic Services. What's that?
Anything in yellow, kill a fellow.
Yeah, pretty much in this particular case.
Look, the OSS, they were some killy motherfuckers, man.
They were. These are the whole OSS is Frankfurt School. All of the think tank guys, all of the guys who produce the intelligence that goes to guys like William J. Donovan, who's a famous intelligence operator from the World War II period. Okay.
Yep. When they
imagine
were yep.
We're in the middle of World War II. We get all of these guys fleeing from Germany. These are specifically the guys the Germans want to kill. Why? Because they're virulent Marxists and communists. So what's the best thing to do? We'll put them in charge of all of the intelligence production and research.
What could go wrong?
What are you looking at here? Do you understand what you're looking at here?
A complete turnover of our intel agencies to
this outside. Is where the deep state begins. This is the moment right here.
That
with
was
the
World
OSS
War II,
in 1942.
Yep.
All of the Frankfurt School guys who were of a particular mindset and group became the core, the entire core of all of our intelligence production.
And
here's
listen,
Franz Newman.
Once you have this set up, right? So you have these guys move in.
Mm-hmm.
They take control during the World War II. As they get older, they're going to drop off in onesie twosies.
Yep.
And they're going to make sure that they groom and train or prepare people that think very close to them
exactly what happened.
To take their positions.
Yep.
So in 2025, when we've heard all of the crazy stuff about all these intel people signing memos about the Russian collusion thing, that is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
We need to break the chain.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.